Once again, keep in mind that we aren't mental health professionals, so what we say isn't medical advice. We're just students speaking from experience and personal observations, so don't hesitate to check out our partners in the description and other reliable resources. We're here to help directly there if you need it.
Hi, I'm Shanta.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Zichin.
And I'm Kira. Welcome to InspirYA Podcast, where we help inspire students to become the best versions of themselves. InspirYA is a nonprofit organization where we present you, the students and young adults, with podcasts and other online services to help you keep up with the challenges that you may be dealing with right now during this pandemic.
And for our second podcast, we will be discussing things to do on a break that does not require your phone and ways to stay off your phone.
In this day and age, it seems that almost everyone has a phone, which isn't surprising, but we shouldn't let our phones become our only hobby to pass the time.
It doesn't help that we can't go and socialize without them either.
Right? With this pandemic going on, my screen time has been going through the roof.
No, right? I've never had so much spare time with my phone. I know I have to limit my screen time, but there's so many games to play and videos to watch. I have a whole watch list to get through and there's like 300 shows on it.
I have also noticed that I use social media more since I don't have as many ways to reach my friends. I might need to delete some of them to set some break time so I can have time to do other things.
That's a really good idea. Recently, I've been putting my phone on Do Not Disturb so it doesn't distract me when I'm not using it and making sure it's not near me when I'm working or sleeping. It saves me the temptation.
I agree, Sean.
Well, what do you do when you're not using your phone?
That's a really good question. I've been spending my time finding a new hobby or even just trying something new every day. It doesn't have to be a drastic change, but even something as little as like planning out my day or like cooking a small meal or like making lunch or something for my family, or even doing things that I now have the chance to do since I have so much time at home.
I've been using the time to read more since there's so much online to read.
Well, that's nice. What have you been reading lately?
I'm reading The Art of War. It is an ancient Chinese military book from the late spring and autumn period, roughly 5th century BC. The book is written by the ancient Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu, and it basically talks about how to defeat the enemies and win wars.
That sounds like pretty advanced stuff. I've been reading this really famous book called We Were Liars, and I have not been able to put it down. I highly recommend this book for anyone interested in suspense books.
Oh, that sounds interesting. As for me, I've started exercising more since the pandemic started. It's really hard to stay healthy when I'm home all day, but if I use more energy to exercise, then I don't have to worry about it. I don't need to diet or anything like that.
Wow, Curtis, that's great. Right now is a great time to start building healthy habits like exercising since we'll have all this extra time on our hand.
Well, speaking of having extra time on our hands, with all this free time, I started learning how to cook. One day I realized that I was spending way too much money on Uber Eats, so I just decided to learn how to cook for myself. And my brother said my food tastes pretty good.
That's really great, Kira, and I'm sure your food tastes really good too. I've been cooking too, but I prefer baking more. Like whenever I'm free, I just like to go downstairs in my kitchen and, bake cookies or cupcakes.
Yum, I love cookies. But I have a question for you guys. And don't lie, how many of you have your room in an unorganized mess?
Mine's like all right, I guess. I kind of go through the cycle of like piling my clothes on my bed and then moving them onto my chair and then moving them back onto my desk. And then back onto my bed. So yeah, it just like never stops.
For me, mine's not too bad, but it still takes a lot of work to get everything organized.
My room looks fine. It's not unorganized, but nothing's really moved in my room since last fall, so I got a layer of dust over everything. It looks totally abandoned, like someone dumped flour over everything.
Well, with all this extra free time we have because of the pandemic, we should take the time to clean and organize your rooms. This pandemic isn't going to last forever, and at some point, you guys are going to have to clean it. Also, having a nice clean room feels really refreshing afterwards. I actually just cleaned my room a couple days ago. It took really long, but it feels great.
I did the same thing here. I fully cleaned my room and it does feel really great. I've also been meaning to redecorate my room and I finally did it this week. It feels so different walking into my room now, but I love it.
Wow, that's nice, Shenza. I know that environment can affect people's ability to perform. Besides indoor activities, another thing to do is to go outside and get some fresh air. There's so much you can do outside.
Yeah, going outside is amazing. I know I'm really pushing the idea of exercise when I mention riding your bike or going on walks, because that's the kind of person I am. But even if you just sit on your porch or on the grass for a bit, it's still time spent outside, and there's plenty of air and sunlight, and just for a little while, you can forget about everything that's happening around you.
Well, now that the weather started warming up, I love being outside too. It's been 28 and 30 degrees outside, so I've been going on walks and playing basketball at the park. And all the activities we named are all things that you can do without having to need your phone. They're great ways to help reduce your screen time while also having fun.
So don't forget that there's also a whole other world outside of the world on your phone. And in the end, we are all students who are experiencing the same difficulties with staying off our phones. But always remember to stay motivated and try your best in everything, even if you don't feel like it. And remember that you are not alone. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.